Hey, Stav, wonderful show, long-time listener.
Not playing, stupid.
Hey, Stav, wonderful show, long-time listener.
Thanks, man.
So, my wife and I have been married for 15 years. We have kids together. We have a wonderful life together. We were both our first, and we enjoy each other. Sex is great. It's been a lot of fun. But one thing that we recently learned about is one of our other friends had a lesbian experience, and she thought that was interesting. And then my wife brings up that she thinks it would be hot if I was with another woman. And then they got to the conversation of, hey, maybe a threesome would actually be happening.
Whoa.
It's always been every guy's dream of doing that, too. So I don't know if I'm ready for that or not. I don't know if she...
It's not every guy's dream, man. Don't let society... This is like societal beauty standards for women, where everyone wants big-ass tits.
I've been pressured into these hot lesbians who want to have sex with me.
But thinking you want that.
No, I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Not like a fantasy being assigned to you, as opposed to being organically generated.
Exactly.
I got you where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they forced me into this society making me suck on 4 tits. But that's like, I would start there. It's like, I mean, it's some guys' fantasies, and it is awesome. I'm not going to lie. Personally, big fan. I'm one of those, I'm part of the problem here, right? But I just want to start there. Is it necessarily your fantasy? But anyway, let's finish up.
That too, so I don't know if I'm ready for that or not. I don't know if she's emotionally ready for that. We talked about doing it, but we were both worried, again, because we were our first for each other, and we've been together for so long, we've never had any other partners.
Yeah.
So I don't know that that's something that we'll pursue, but it's something that we've talked about, and I don't know where we should kind of go for that. We both like the idea of it, but I think we're just scared to jump in. The internet says don't do it. I want it, but I don't want it kind of thing. Any advice? Thanks.
It's kind of like someone being like, so I met the devil, and he told me he really wants to dance with me. I don't know. I heard the devil's great at dancing, so I've been thinking about doing it. What do you think I should be doing? Should I dance with the devil?
It sounds fun. He's a great dancer.
Yeah.
He's a great dancer.
He told me about this great place he knows. The band's amazing.
Who knows? He's kind of shady about what happens afterwards, but the dance will be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, look, let's start here. The absolute safest thing here to do is not do it, right? This is a wild Pandora's box situation, right? Especially since you guys have never fucked anybody else. Like, I would be a little more open if you both had not crazy, but if you had experiences where it was like, but you have a specific thing here. And how long did they say they've been together? A long time, right? 15 years? 15 years. Bro, like, they have kids together? Like, here's what I would say to you. Here's the super duper safe thing is don't do it. This is crazy. Let this be a fantasy. Maybe, you can talk about it. You can fuck it. Maybe when you're this could be a dirty talk thing, whatever. Second to most safe thing is let your kids get out of the house. And then in your retirement, enjoy. Like, if you didn't have kids and you weren't going to have kids, I would be like, 15 years, maybe. Because what you're risking here is fucking up this beautiful marriage and also kids' lives. Because, you get both of you could get, your wife could, by the way, it's not just you. Your wife could just be like, whoa, I'm bi, but I like fucking women more.
Or what if she's actually a lesbian?
Or you could get a classic Ross from Friends situation.
There you
go. She could be a lesbian. So it's like, it's not just her. It could be both. It's not just you. It could be both of you. You could both be like, whoa, it's cool to fuck, to fuck other people. Like, so that's the safest thing. Don't ever do it. Second safest thing, wait till your kids are and wait till you've gone through so much together. Your kids are out of the house. You're only risking, like, whatever, getting divorced when you're older. Who really gives a fuck? Start over. You risk that. And it also could be like a little experimental, whatever. I would say the third safest option here is like where this becomes a super problem, I think, is like, who the fuck is this person going to be? Is it going to get emotional? Like, the third safest thing I would say is sex worker, whose job this is, who does couples. I've had friends who got like this is fucking nuts. I had friends who got a couples happy ending massage. when it was like them, it was them and two chicks. The wife was bi. I think they're both bi. I mean, these are kind of freaky. And by the way, these are not people that only had one other partner. By the way, this is kind of that's why I'm saying this is kind of a high level maneuver. But like, they loved it. And so I don't know. I would if you're gonna do it, I would say maybe like get a pro involved where feelings aren't involved and it's just pure sexual lust and gratification. But it's tough, bro. Dipping your toes into this kind of shit is just very, very precarious.
Well, I think your emphasis on safety, I think, is interesting because, like, is that his top priority, or is he like losing his mind? Like, I gotta try some shit. I can't be with just one woman my whole life. I'm going crazy here, and it's worth it because otherwise I'm gonna go lose my mind. But like, so there's a couple of things. First of all, that she's initiating it, I think, is interesting. Like, often this would be driven by the dude, and like
that's a good sign.
Yeah, that I think is more likely to blow up in your face, and or potentially like explode a marriage or something like that. Yeah. I'm a big fan of like the toe dip. Is there a way for us to play with this idea gently before we go all the way in some like explosive way? Is there
make out with a girl?
Yeah, you got some lady you can take out on a date or make out with a girl, or maybe we're not going full on all the way with this threesome thing, but we're tap dancing with it a little with the devil.
I like that.
Just like a little frisky.
Yeah.
Just
we're sending the devil TikToks back and forth.
Yeah,
where we're not in the same room dancing, but we're kind of getting a feel for it.
That's not like this. Get out of that fantasy realm of like all the way everything
that's
potentially explosive, collapse a marriage shit.
Yes,
and be like, hey, what's like a little first step we can take? And because also sometimes then people will be like, you know what, I don't like that at all. Let's not do that anymore. Like, just like. Push the boundaries a little bit first in some way before you go full throttle all the way. Like,
No, that's a great point because you could both be like, I don't like this. One of you could be like, I love this, and the other one can be like, I hate this. But you're not far gone enough where you can come back. I think that's a great point. Yeah. You look like you wanted to chime in, Eldis.
I just feel like at this point in time, this guy's definitely not ready. You could just hear this is not a guy who's like ready for a threesome. Yeah. I think he's like not hungry. I hear like a lot of like hesitance and fear in
You're right.
voice.
You know what?
Where it's like, I don't know. I think like his wife brought it up. I would say they have a long road of like exploring that, especially if this is like something out of character for your wife that's completely out of left field.
Is there like a fantasy? You brought this up to some fantasy realm version of it without it being like literally happening. You know, where you can play around with the idea, but you're not actually like
different toe dips, like you said.
Yeah,
like even watching porn with what I mean. Like just like kind of getting a little freakier because you're right. I guess you're right. I broke this up because I even sensed that when I interrupted it because he felt a little. Yeah.
Well, you nailed it. That it's every guy's. He's saying like it's everyone else's fantasy, so it should probably be mine too.
That's a great
what
point.
We all heard.
Is this really your fantasy? Because like here's the other thing. You're right, Eldis. He just might be the one who puts the brakes on it. You know what I mean? Like usually this is like some fucking horny. Like you said, usually it's like some guy and a girl's reluctant. And it's like now he doesn't want to feel like a bitch. He doesn't want to be like, well, I'm cool. I want to get pussy with my wife. I'm not fucking, I'm not gay, But you might just be, this might be too much for you. And that's also okay.
Yeah. There's like a natural part of you that feels like you're like squandering something awesome.
Right.
It's like, someone's like, hey, you could eat this entire cake for dinner and no one's going to judge you.
Right.
You could just, have a blast. You won't get any fatter.
Yeah.
It's almost like the inversion of what you're saying is true too. Like, don't not do it just because society is like, oh, this is bad. It's going to ruin you. Like, connect to this dude I'm talking to now, connect to what you authentically want here. You actually want this to happen, then do the toe dip or one of the safety or watch, try that. But if you don't actually want it to happen, you don't have to be risking your marriage, you know?
But also you could also be like, there might also be just some kind of inversion. There might even just be an inversion of their sexual roles here too, right? Where the wife is like, what he might be hesitant about is like kind of being submissive in this situation. And maybe that's something to play around with. Like,
I was going to say maybe let your wife drive here. Yeah, like I'm going to let you lead. Find a partner. Let's whatever you want to happen. I'll be along for it. And then because also I don't see him taking charge.
Totally. I've always said my dream situation is my dream threesome is like the speed bump to 2 women fucking. That's what I want. I want to have a hot wife who hit it off with some hot woman.
Sounds
and she
great.
looks over and my wife's like, look, you got to fuck him too. And she's like,
all right.
you know what I mean? Like that's the dream. That's what that's on my vision board is like, I'd love to fuck ladies with my wife someday. But hard maneuver to pull off. And I think we gave our friend here a nice little amount of, a lot of different toe dips you can do here, brother. And really search inside for what you truly want. But we're rooting for you.